Akindele, it is harvest time. President Bola Tinubu has congratulated the actress, film producer, and director for a record-setting movie and commended her, I should say, for contributing to the growth of the industry. Dotun, nothing, they say there's nothing like an old idea whose time has come. So for Funke Akindele, it was time well spent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually happy for her. She's been at it for a while, and over the years, and she has been growing. What I've seen in her, largely, is the fact that education, not just the ones you gain from the four walls of the classroom, educating yourself, whatever you do, and developing yourself consistently does a lot. Because by classroom work, she's a lawyer.
Okay.
But over time in this industry, she has proven herself. I've watched 3 of the movies released about the same time in December. Don't let me mention the other 2.
Okay.
But
So you won't be seen as advertising.
Advertising. I found us very unique, well thought out, and then those she used in the movie, they actually fitted into the roles given to them. So it was a perfect combo for me.
Yeah.
You know, and I think the industry is growing with the likes of Funke Akindele and some other great names. We have somewhere to go. Some of us are actually tired of watching the American and European films. We want to see something that can keep us glued. You know, in some years back, you can actually sit back, hear the title of a movie, and know in Nigeria, know the direction in which it's going to head.
Okay.
But now, it's becoming different. And then the plot, the shooting, the directing.
All right.
I mean, so she deserves both the money and the commendation.
Yeah. Yeah. Wale, a Tribe Called Judah, I would love to see the film.
You need to.
Okay.
You need to.
Grossed 1 billion naira at the box office. That's a record.
I think that's a milestone in Nigerian Hollywood industry. And it shows that there is a lot of money in the creative industry. It's not just about oil, it's not just about oil and gas. That the greatest human asset is here. That's why we are talking about a lot of countries that are developed, Japan, Sweden, they don't have oil. But the human ability to turn the thinking faculty into money, it is actually what...
You've mentioned that. I know Dotun would not forget that Israel was principally a desert country.
Yeah.
So now.
But today, Israel leads in the production of fruits and all that.
Yeah. In agriculture generally.
Yeah.
Agriculture generally. I think they are
so it comes from here, as you said.
She's just 46. I think she was born in 1977. And her first degree was mass communication. Moshood Abiola University, Polytechnic, before going to read law at the University of Lagos. And it shows that, when you have your certificate, the first page is the course you have read. But the second page is blank, telling you that, look, you have not learned anything, that the world is inexhaustible. So even though you are a graduate of engineering, the second page of your certificate is blank to tell you that you are going to a world that is fertile and inexhaustible.
Yeah.
And that there's nothing you cannot become. So I think she's actually a role model. In just 3 weeks, we are talking about $1.1 million, You know, we are talking about 900 million pounds. That's a lot, 1.something billion naira. And I'm actually happy for her. And I think this is a better venture than probably if she had emerged as Deputy Governor of Lagos State. Maybe the world would have been robbed of this excitement. So I'm glad for her, and I hope that people who think that the only way they can make money is through Yahoo by making people unhappy, you know, is the only way you can survive. I'm feeding on the blood of other people. That there are many ways you can create wealth. This film is just about 2 hours, which is the story of a woman, you know, with 3 children, 3 boys. 5 boys. From different fathers. From different fathers, who decided to go and rob a mall. And while they were going to rob that mall, they encountered armed robbers. You know, you can see the irony, you know. So I think it's quite impressive that people can tell that short story and then create stars all over the world. Yeah. So I'm really happy for her, and I hope our people will learn from what she has done.
The president said the industry was a gold mine, untapped.
Yeah, it still is. We've said it. There are areas in which Nigerians are gifted. Nollywood is there, and the IT. But we are fast losing our IT guys to this brain drain issue. So what government can do is to ensure that we get things in order. For instance, we know somebody like Kunle Afolayan. He's created a film village for himself. But there are some film villages that have died now completely.
Ubatogunde
is in Ososa. It's completely gone. For so many reasons, which we are dealing with in Nigeria. Insecurity, power, and all the rest. Those things are not developing. And government needs to be able to focus on how to ensure that these industries, where we have our own advantage, we develop them. A lot of our people are, not a lot. Some of them have been called by Americans to take part in their films.
So put simply, we can say that Ms. Funke Akindele has blazed the trail. It is possible.
It is possible. It is doable.
Yeah, it is possible.
Okay.
You know.
All right, to our next story. You know, about 10 years ago, the town of Chibok in Chibok local government area of Borno State stole the headlines, even if for the wrongest of reasons, following the abduction of about 200 school girls from their hostels. Another attack on the town was recorded on New Year's Day. About 12 people were killed in cold blood, while many others were injured. The mindless insurgents also stole food items and medicine from a general hospital in the area. Security operatives were told are said to be on their trail. Time to call the bluff of the bad boys, Wale.
Well, I feel depressed that despite, the trauma suffered by Chibok, I think 2014, that affliction has arisen again, in the same community. I felt that if Chibok was attacked in 2014 and several, our children were taken away, that Chibok would have been, highly protected. Chibok should not have been left to be vulnerable because once beaten, twice shy. So it's so shocking to me that this can happen again. The same place that the whole world, drew the attention of the whole world on a very bad note. And they came in about 20 motorcycles, and then operated for several hours, left 12 people dead, and then disappeared. Well, I think it's a signal that we still have a long way to go in terms of our ability to crush insurgency. But that should not take away the good work that the current governor of Borno State is doing. We can see it physically, we can feel it, that is actually genuinely committed to eradicating terrorism. He can't do it alone. He needs the support of the security apparatus, which are actually not in his control. Because in other countries, even third world countries, when there is a scene of crime, the first thing is that you take forensic materials. Then immediately you put it on computer. Even in Iran, in Kenya, in less than few hours, you get data of the people that operated. Because anywhere you operate, where even strand of hair is enough, the DNA is enough for forensic, machine to give information, analyze about the people that have perpetrated this crime. We now ask ourselves, what is the purpose of the name that we do? The purpose of BVN and all that? What is actually happening? That people who commit crime, you go there, you collect information, and then you cannot, ensure that we get the armed robbers and the bandits to be arrested. It's quite unfortunate. It has happened again. This is happening less than 1 month after the attack in Jos. Yeah, about close to 100 people or more were killed. Terrorism is here. I hope it is not here to stay.
Yeah, Dikbo, and in all of this, we must not fail to mention intelligence gathering, which is key here. Sometimes, like a cynic, you are tempted to believe or think these things are deliberate.
Well,
and if they are, to what avail?
Well, I wouldn't say that it's deliberate on the part of the security operatives not to be able to win the war against terror. It's just that this is a very unconventional war.
Yeah.
Where everybody is needed to ensure that the country remains safe. What do I mean by that? We've established very clearly at whatever level that the country does not have enough security personnel to fight the kind of war we are doing all over. We're not just fighting in one zone. We are combating oil thieves in the south-south, terror people in the southeast. The north-central is there, badly battered with bandits. The northeast, which we are talking about, is there, and then the northwest. So, where you have about 100 soldiers in the Nigerian army, and both the Navy and Air Force combined boasting of less than that, taking care of what the police, which is also underfunded and understaffed, should be doing, we are bound to have this kind of attacks once in a while, because people monitor the movement of troops. And that is why we, as civilians, we come in. Some people have given in because of fear. So they are afraid to report that we have seen these people going in this direction. Because we've watched the video of these terrorists executing a 12-year-old for revealing their movement to troops. So people are afraid. That's the case a lot of times in some of the communities, like the governor of Plateau State complained about. He said they've been in some of these communities for 10 years. These people are unleashing terror. Meaning that the people are even afraid to go out and say, see, we know they are here. So it's a whole lot for me when we look at the issues in the North States, especially Borno State, because Borno State is wide.
Large.
And from what the Chief of Army Staff told us, what they have done is to bring out 50,000 soldiers into the battle. When you look at the country's terrain, 50,000, too small. But can we recruit today and get it done?
When the defense headquarters talked about the terrain in Plateau, that's going to Plateau, talking about Plateau, in combating the Wahala. Dikbo, is it asking for too much to say we could deploy gadgetry?
Yes, it's not asking for too much. It's not, which is the truth, which is where the role of intelligence and equipment comes into play. Come into play. What have we been able to achieve with the equipment that we have? What we are doing now is to be looking at areas of need. It's not as if we were prepared 5-10 years ago. And that's why people still keep talking about the military having destroyed itself. In the past, we had a military that could move out anywhere. But when the military itself came into power, it was reducing its spending on the military because of fear of who?
Yeah.
Data. So it was injuring itself in the process. Now that the military is completely out, rebuilding that process or rebuilding the security architecture is going to be difficult. The value of Naira has fallen very badly. So what you could get with 1,000 Naira 20 years ago, 10 years ago, you can't get again. We are still using very old fighter jets, except the new ones that was bought by the last regime.
Tucano jet?
Yes, the Tucano. We are still using the C-130, which a lot of people have abandoned. The rest of the world have kept somewhere to move troops.
So we are playing catch-up.
That's what we are doing now. So when we now talk of deploying intelligence and equipment, IT, it's going to take a while. And these are not things that you just go somewhere and say, okay, sell me, this is my money, sell me this thing.
Without taking anything from what Wale said, Wale talked about, what is it now? You said something that has triggered this issue of 9/11. The moment 9/11 happened, the American Congress provoked the Patriot Act. And it took 10 years to get the brain behind 9/11. So nobody says that the battle against Boko Haram was going to be won in a jiffy. It's not a dash. It's a marathon race.
Yeah, it is really.
Yeah. But the point also we should notice, after the 9/11, I think in few days we were able to identify the main actors.
Yeah.
Pictures were everywhere.
All right. Yeah.
And that's why.
That's the job of intelligence.
Which requires a lot of commitment, And there's no crime that is committed, to pass through 3 stages: the level of conception, the level of planning, and then execution. It's always very good to get them at the level of planning, because once they execute that crime, the damage has been done. It becomes so much difficult. Human lives have been lost and all that. So that's why you see that in nations that take serious intelligence, take intelligence very seriously, at the level of conception, at the level of planning, and it usually involves more than one people. At the level of conception, the number is always very small. Maybe 2 or 3 people conceive it. At the level of planning, those that will be involved in planning may not even know those that conceive the idea. Planning and then execution. The people who are executing may not even know those who conceive it, and they may not be involved in the planning. You understand the point? But it's important that we nip these problems right from the roots. Conception, planning. But once they execute this crime, the damage is already done. So we need to strengthen our intelligence.
Brings to mind the Mossad.
Yeah. When they know, they know that something is going to happen. And what do? They tap every connecting, telephone in that area. Once you mention a suspicious word, they start that line and begin to investigate what are these people trying to talk about. And then at the level of planning, they will send people to come and do investigation. People will move around that place where they want to attack, to spy. So a place like Chibok, we expect that there should be a kind of surveillance. People moving around, you need to be able to, map out who are the people coming in and going out. They're coming in to attack that town. We take some hours moving from destination to that area where they have come to. So something should happen so that at the end of the day, we don't allow terrorists to execute their plan before they are arrested.
Yeah, otherwise, gentlemen, it's simply to tell government and everybody watching, journalists only help mold opinion and leave the opinion for decision makers. Good luck. To our next story. For the new chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Mr. Ola Olukoyede, it's a baptism of fire. Operatives of the anti-graft agency besieged the headquarters of the Dangote group of companies in Lagos. The agency is beaming its searchlight on foreign exchange of forex allocations made to some 52 companies, including the Dangote Group. The suspicion is that former President Muhammadu Buhari never approved these forex allocations. For a country meshed in corrupt dealings, you wonder if the anti-graft agency can go the whole hog, Dotun. Can we go the whole hog?
Well, it's possible.
Okay.
But just like we discussed the last topic, this is not something that you begin today and expect the result.
Okay.
What has happened with Dangote yesterday is something that the country must be careful about, so that the impression is not given that businesses are going to suffer based on what some who are not insiders in that business have done. The new FCC chairman actually made a promise when he came into office. And sincerely, I'm believing that he's going to keep it up. And we are going to see that from how he handles what happened yesterday with Dangote and going forward. One of the things we've always expected and which he promised was to be able to work on the mixed fund rules. Meaning that while a business is going on, legitimately, there might be some funds getting in that are illegitimate. We should be able to separate both so that we don't kill businesses. I can imagine if, because of what happened yesterday, Dangote says, okay, I'm taking the whole of my businesses out of Nigeria, then this economy is likely to collapse. The FCC chairman, let me quote him before I go into the background, has promised that there is a need to redirect our focus towards what we were set up to do in Nigeria, which is to drive economic development. We will tilt our focus towards that area. We will work to drive economic development, create wealth and employment. And that is what the FCC should be doing. Background information to what happened yesterday. As the EFCC team was raiding the headquarters of Dangote, staff of Dangote in the accounting department were in their office in Lagos, giving them documents that they again went in search of at the headquarters. This thing has been in the public domain for a while. They've requested of Dangote Group through a letter, give us all your transactions with the CBN since Godwin Emefiele got into office.
And till when he exited?
Until when he left. There was a back and forth, some of us learned, between the EFCC and Dangote. You gave them a specific time. You wanted it by January 10th. They said, no, this is voluminous. It's about 8 years. And that is one area where, for me, I also think Dangote was at fault. All your documentation should be in a place where you can retrieve it at the touch of a button.
Yeah.
It's not something you say, EFCC has given me 2 weeks to produce this thing, and you are asking for 3, 4, 5 months. That's unbelievable.
Okay.
For a business that is that big.
Especially if you are operating honestly.
Yes, honestly. If there is nothing to hide.
Yeah.
But now let's even assume that they say this is for 8 years. And then they've brought you documents that covered the last 4 or 5 years and have requested, give us some more time. I think you want me to hold it there.
Yeah. Well, we must go on a break. Dotun, let's make some money. It's a new year. So we'll take this break and come back. Please stay with us.
Every major news story is with many perspectives and layered with different levels of impact.
Hello. What time did this happen? We will be right there.
At TVC News, we follow the big and major news, gathering the facts, witnessing the outcome.
I am here live at the aftermath of the approval of the new national minimum wage.
We are TV Station of the Year, not just for breaking news, but for being first, fair and accurate. TVC News, first with breaking news.
All right, then, welcome back. Let's go back there. The EFCC, as we told you, is beaming its searchlight, or torchlight if you like, on 52 companies, including the mighty Dangote Group. And they want to get to the bottom of the matter. How did these companies get Forex from the CBN under Emefiele? Depo, you are.
Yeah, so if they had documents for 4 or 5 years, nothing stops you from going through those ones. They requested for a longer time. You can shorten it, but not like January 10. And then those staff were actually in your own office. When you left the place, went to the headquarters, locked the place up, and did what you needed to do. Or did they get an extra document after going there? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
Because if this is what they have, then what you need to do is to put more pressure to get those things out faster, so that documents are not tampered with.
Okay.
Which for me it's a good one.
Wale, but the typical Nigerian is not persuaded, if you ask me, by things like this. They would tell you something like, we have seen this before.
Yes.
Is this for the optics?
Well, I think I don't really want to focus on Dangote, but I want to look at the entire, general perspective in terms of what the EFCC is doing and the impact on investments, local and international investment. For me, I think the important thing that should guide us is that you cannot have sustainable development in a country where there's no law and order. People, no matter how big they are, they must be subjected to the law of the country. We have read so many stories in US, in Britain, big companies, Enron and all of them, many of them, I can't be mentioning all of them, they subject them to the rules of the game. If you are a bakery operating somewhere in Umuahia here, the same law that guides you is the one that guides the richest man in the whole world. There's no favoritism. Don't let us say, because it is this man, then why should EFCC go there? EFCC should have the right to investigate any company, no matter how highly placed. And I think that is the best way we can enjoy confidence, both in the local and international community. So for one thing, I'm impressed about the fact that we are even talking about probing the CBN, which has never happened for several years. Because some of these big companies that, big names and all that, they are citadels of crime, the worst crimes you can ever imagine. Especially when you're talking about this forest thing. People who had big companies, they had this company. Little, ordinary men that are, at Alaba looking for $5,000 to import material. They don't get them. Somebody will have $1 million stocked in his factory, and then we go and sell to them. So we need to sanitize this forest industry if we really want Nigeria to transform to a respectable country all over the world. It does not matter whether people will begin to have misunderstanding, but once it is driven by transparency, I want to sanitize the system, I want to make the country more conducive for people to come and invest, and that their money will be safe. I think anybody, there must be law and order.
Essentially, because we are a country that has developed that penchant for not punishing bad behavior.
Yes.
People may not be trusting of the EFCC to go the whole hog, as I said.
Well, I think we cannot leave everything mechanically for the EFCC. The media also has a very important role to play. They have gone there now. It is our responsibility to follow up, to make sure we keep them on their toes. What has happened? What is going on? A journalist, from Daily He went to Kutonu to expose crime. That's our responsibility. We should not leave it to AFCC alone.
Yeah.
In the next few days, we'll be asking AFCC what has happened. Give us more information about what the investigation are carrying out about forest. And we should also do our own investigation. That's what the meaning of investigative journalism. So now they have opened up the window for us, for Nigerians. And we should take up that challenge that no matter how big a company is, that company must be accountable to the Nigerian people. I think that's the message.
Deeper.
Accountability, yes. But it must be seen that we are not politicizing some of these things. And why do I say so? Even in the case of Emefiele, who is being probed now, we must not get to a point where people begin to get a feeling that it has become vendetta.
Us versus them.
Yes. So that's why I laid that foundation for what I said. There is nobody who should not be made to account for the problem we went through with dollar, with forex.
And problem we're still going through.
Yes, and which we are even going to suffer in the... Because what we are paying for now, which is making the naira to lose value, has been the mishandling of what we had in our reserve.
So, sometimes,
Which-
Dipo and Wale, sometimes don't you gentlemen ask yourselves, at what point did we become mad and we lost it and the national currency is suffering?
It's at the point where we became very greedy. That's at the point where we became greedy. He spoke about what is termed the round tripping. It's a common place in Nigeria. It's a common thing that happens in Nigeria. Because you have the
carpet baggers.
Yes, you have the opportunity. You go in there, you buy at especially in those years where the differential was huge. You go into CBN, you get out the dollar, you take it to the black market, you sell it, you go back. You know,
Yeah.
that's at the point where wealth, acquisition of wealth that even 10 generations of a particular family or lineage can't eat up even if they don't work. It was at that point that we lost it. Because this is all about more money, more money, more money. That was why at the point when the naira was going to be changed, some people also felt happy.
When you say changed, what you redesigned or something?
That was the resign. Some people also felt, yes, it's good. They will bring out the money they have at home. Politicians.
Okay.
And we did see some money come out at that time. That even you...
Okay, you're talking about 1984?
No. Even
the
last one that we did. We saw money that came into the banking system that were like rags. Because people kept them at home, hoping that by the time the elections come, they will unleash it. So it's at that point where we lost it, where we lost our conscience completely and didn't care about whether the next person had a meal in a day to eat or not.
Yeah.
Not to talk of the one that we refer to as this 3-square meal. So we are in that state now that we need also to now be extremely careful, so that the foreign direct investment that we are hoping for, we don't create an impression that when you come in, we are going to ill-treat you. We should let the whole world know what is happening. If, like I said, you've asked me for a document for 8 years, and I give you that of 4 to 5 years, it is carelessness on my part that I can't get on a computer and just press it and I can print out those documents. Because big businesses are supposed to run on well-done documentation. You are not supposed to be waiting until give me 5 months to go and present my documents.
Well, are we in trouble?
We have always been in trouble. Okay. The issue now is that, are we going to get out of this trouble? I believe if we do the right thing, and one of those things is law and order. The law that applies to you applies to whoever is minister or prime minister. But the situation where you say, because, oh, this man is a big man, we should allow him to go free. You know, in Singapore, when Lee Kuan Yew came, law and order, some ministers committed suicide.
Yeah.
In Singapore, the law has no respect of anybody. If they find that you are guilty, you are guilty. It does not matter whether, oh, his father is a traditional ruler, his mother is this and all that. They will arrest you.
I hear that for corruption in China, a bullet to the back of your
head. It does not matter who you are. In Cuba, somebody was even supposed to be the president of Cuba was on the line. A general was shot. So with this country, we must learn to do things. People say, oh, it's not possible. We have to start somewhere.
Yes.
We have to start somewhere. By the time you know that a governor can go to jail for crime, you will be very careful. You will be very careful. But when you just think that, oh, because I'm minister, I can pass one way, my company is so big, nobody can arrest me. What kind of country is that? Well, so we should inspire Nigerians to have hope.
Trouble now, the big job now is saving the national currency.
Yes.
Dr. I spoke with, I was discussing with Wally before you came. You know, 50 kobo was a note. I saw it. I saw the farthing. I saw the penny and the 3 pence, Toro, 6 pence, Sisi. They were all here. They were all mediums of exchange.
Yeah. But you know, I've said it often on this program that the way out for us is not salary increase for anybody. It is strengthening our currency.
And Wale, let's also underscore it. Strengthening the national currency means that we must make electricity to work, so we go back to production.
Everything must
so
work.
We earn foreign exchange and help the local currency.
Everything must work. 2 days back,
yeah,
the biggest range producing company left Nigeria. It stopped production. So it's only going to be distributing what comes from other countries.
Okay.
So we are losing it on, and that's why it's important that, like you said, we must go back to production. We've been told that Port Harcourt Refinery, the test run will be completed this month. Yeah. So we are hopeful. If eventually
yeah, money is important, but time is the master here. So let's go to our next story. Yeah, you know, following a widely circulated report that a Nigerian journalist bagged a degree in a Benin Republic university in an unimaginable 6 weeks, the federal government has hinted on evaluating and accrediting degrees and certificates from universities in Benin Republic. But the president of the National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, in Benin Republic, Favor Ugochukwu, thinks the federal government should exercise restraint because about 15,000 Nigerian students in the former French colony would be affected. Well, it makes you wonder if we are not paying a high price for making our country a highly certificated society.
You see, I first of all need to commend the journalists. Yeah. You know, he has brought back again. Well, a lot of organizations have been doing a lot of, even including TVC here, you know, a lot of investigative work. This one is super. And I really commend, you know, the media outfit. This crime is not a new crime. I
hear it's been there.
It's been going on for long. And don't forget, it's not just that they produce engineers, they produce probably lawyers. They also produce nurses. I've seen some certificates, people send it to me that they're looking for a job. Say nurses from Cotonou and
don't forget the last DG, Firo.
Yeah.
That was where you
it's you know,
under which you wanted to hide. To present a PhD. So
this is a big problem. It's a transborder crime that involves students, involves university lecturers. It's a ring. It involves the NYSC, because if somebody brings a certificate to you from Cotonou, the NYSC should have investigated before, you know, allocate to primary. Yeah. It involves immigration for the stamp, for the passport to be stamped, you know. And then will you ask yourself, what is the work of Nigerian intelligence agency? which is supposed to deal with intelligence, cross-border intelligence. These are the kind of things that I expect them to furnish the federal government with this information and not to wait for one individual journalist.
We just showed a specimen.
And what is
that's the certificate.
What is the work of Interpol? Interpol, International Police, and we have segments of Interpol in Nigeria. These are the kind of things they need to furnish Nigeria and the Nigerian government with. That, look, this is what is going on. So if not for this journalist, we would have been living in the dark. People collect, and I'm sure that a lot of people are occupying strategic positions as we speak, who are graduates of this fake university.
While there's a cause for it, we became heavily certificated. Because Dikbo knows, if you want a BSc degree, they will take you to a room, give you a bottle of beer, go to the backyard, cook it, and give you. If you want a master's degree.
It means a tailor can easily become a nurse in 2 weeks and begin to treat people.
It's one of the things I like about journalism. Certificates, yes, but if you can't write, you can't hide anywhere. If you can write.
If you know day, you know day.
You know day. If you know the body, you know the body. That's one of the good things. But in areas such as medicine, where you have doctors, nurses, it's dangerous to our health. It's dangerous to our health. Like you said, yes, we should have been able to get some intelligence on these things. I completely agree with that. But at the same time...
Quickly, let me ask so I don't forget. Is government right in taking this decision?
For now, yes. This blanket ban is good.
Okay.
So we can now go back
to the drawing board, as they say.
Yes, to sort out the
sift the wheat from the chaff.
So that we can get to know those who are actually doing what they ought to do. Because like the NANS president said, if you do it blanket, and then everybody who has a certificate from that place can't do anything, then you are punishing those who got it genuinely. I know that a lot of parents, once they can't get admission in Nigeria, they ship their words off to Togo, Benin Republic, and some Ghana. Because there are schools like that too in Ghana.
Okay.
Yes, there are schools like that too in Ghana. And that's why the Minister of Education added Kenya and Uganda. Because we are bringing in a lot of certificates from there. The African countries that are good, at least we have our people out. In some other countries that people would think, why are they there? Sudan, medicine, Ukraine, medicine, Russia, medicine. Those are good. They are good schools here. But it's not as if also in those countries you don't have these other ones. It's not as if in Nigeria we also don't have them. Some schools have been blacklisted by the NUC. Because once students get in, all that they do is they have paid so much money. And like we say in our own days, let them go. Just push them out. They push them out. I've had course in the last 5-7 years to work with some people from private universities. And I felt ashamed. Because these were people who came out with good grades. And then some, maybe I'm driving and something breaks. I need to quickly get some things out. What they are going to send to you, even you that you dictated it, will not recognize it again. When they write, you have to sit down with them and say, come and tell me this thing that you have written. It's your mouth. So that I can rewrite. Do
you know, 2 days ago, we got talking about yesteryear, school and schooling. Writing was a subject. Dictation was a subject. Reading was a subject.
Yes.
They are not there anymore.
It's gone. What we do now is just everybody come to the class. You teach them and everybody goes home. And then the way we have been complaining, we put too much burden on our lecturers, even within here, because we do not have enough room for students. We don't have enough universities. When we put such burdens on them, how do they interact with the papers of the students, with the scripts? Because maybe in my own time, I knew that all the lecturers, they knew virtually everybody. One by one. They could tell you,
the class was
if you
smaller.
copy somebody's
the class was sizable.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it was sizable. That's the point. They could tell you if you copy somebody's work during exam that, no, you didn't write this. Who did you copy? And they can tell from the tone, from the language, that this is the fellow you copied.
Yeah.
But all that is gone. All that is gone. Even at the level of taking WASC, West African Senior Secondary School, you have parents influencing things, paying money to people to write.
Yeah.
So how do such students go into universities to perform?
So how do you react when you hear things like, oh, what I suffered, may my children not suffer it?
Oh,
Don't you hear such things?
I hear such things, but sometimes it depends on what you mean by that kind of, the kind of sovereignty they are talking about. But if it's about having rigorous education,
Yeah, that's it most of the time.
education, read and understand, you have universal knowledge, going to universities to acquire universal knowledge.
Yeah.
I think every child deserves to pass through that rigor if you really want to get the best out of them. What has happened, we are talking about, has exposed the crisis of Nigerian educational system that has been internationalized. Because what is happening in Benin Republic, there may be other universities here doing the same thing. It's not just Benin Republic alone. So we need to find out, it's not just about Benin Republic.
In Nigeria, Dikpo Wale glorified secondary schools.
That's if they are no longer glorified primary schools.
Okay.
That's if they are not now. Because some secondary schools are better than universities. I say this to my wife often. I say sometimes.
Is your wife a teacher?
No, she read linguistics.
Okay.
I say sometimes, when you speak.
Look at that certificate.
Yeah, it looks very beautiful. When you speak with a primary 6 or secondary school graduate, let me use that word graduate, of those days, they are more intelligent than people that have been produced in our universities. It's a shame. It's a shame. And I've been telling this to some of our colleagues in journalism. I've been saying this in the last 10 years, that when our own generation of journalists leave, you won't find replacement very soon. Because, like you said, make my pikin no go through what I go through. It has damaged the country. People don't want to work. You have people who I've had people who will call me and say, how do we make money in journalism? They're not even working yet.
Yeah.
That is their
But
issue.
So that's why he went to school, to make money.
To make money, but not to work to make the money. It's just show me where to go and grab the money.
If tell them where NNPC did.
Even in NNPC, if you are an engineer, you must still go to the oil rig to go and do something.
Let's take it home. Benin Republic is the metaphor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So there may be others.
Yes.
Benin Republic, Togo. The president of NANS in Benin Republic is saying, if federal government does not suspend the evaluation of certificates, about 15,000 students would suffer.
Well, I think for now, just like my colleague said, what the federal government has done is the right thing to do. First, put a ban, then begin investigation to now sieve the grain from the chaff. There are about 825 programs in Benin Republic and about 37 universities. So the government needs to do thorough investigation. So at the end of the day,
not to say there aren't good.
There are good universities. Yeah. Oh, in fact, for instance, Ghana has some of the best universities. University of Legon, East Coast University.
But for even all you know, this same university that issued these certificates could be running a proper program.
Yes.
But they just wanted to make money from this one.
They see Nigerians
How do you get a degree in 6 weeks?
Well,
you didn't even register. No registration, no application. Just go and pay money and then, it's a big crisis.
Even for him to go in and out, claim to have gone in and out, you have to pay for it to
get his passport stamped.
Meaning that I never left Nigeria.
So it's the height of corruption which symbolizes the situation we are in Nigeria. And the president of this country now will understand more about the challenge that he faces in tackling the problem of corruption. It's not just about politicians stealing money. You know, corruption has become a way of life. So in tackling corruption, it has to be a multidimensional approach. We have to stop the way our judgment, our way of life must be addressed.
All right. Like we even said, look at the case of the last Firo DG.
Yeah.
Even at that level, you are still going to one university in Benin Republic to go and collect the certificate to come and give to ensure that you become.
Yeah, because we opened
at that level.
We opened the gate at that level for it to happen. Yeah. Our job is almost done.
Yeah.
2024 is a leap year.
It is.
So I'm particularly happy for those born on February 29th.
29, yes. We are going to have parties this year.
Yeah, plenty of them.
Once in 4 years.
Once in 4 years. Okay.
So I'm happy for them.
All right, folks. That will just about do it for today. Did you miss any part of this show? Not to worry. You may watch a repeat broadcast at 11 later tonight. And of course, on Sunday, we make it a 2-hour stint for you from 1:30 to 3:30. And just to also inform you, we are also on YouTube at youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. And so on behalf of the Backroom Boys, Dikbo and Wale, this is Citizen Jones Hussein saying bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Take care.
There's crisis. People are sleeping in ATMs. The banks are not managed it. This is driving Nigeria into economic crisis.
The CBN did not really do their homework right. They're supposed to have sensitized people.
The INEC officials speaking as we speak, there are just some 4 more states